What's going on, guys? Another day here with the Jeep Grand Cherokee, another video for that. And today we are going to be switching all the rotors and pads, as you can see. Sorry if you can't hear me, I have the neighbor blasting music, but I wanted to get this video done. So like I said, brake rotors, pads, and we're gonna flush the brake fluid as well because that fluid is pitch black. And after that, we should be good to go with the Jeep stopping wise and everything, all right? So this is what I end up getting. I will link everything down below in the description if I do remember. But pads, rotors, came with everything, all the clips and everything. You do need, if you're gonna flush your brake fluid, .3, if you want .4, but it says .3. Also some brake cleaner, and then for the tools that you'll need for this job, you'll just need a socket set basically and a wrench. Pretty simple to get the brackets out from the brake pads and caliper. And besides that, maybe like some pry bars and a C-clamp to push the piston back from the caliper. And then besides that, you should be good. If I do miss something, you'll probably see it in the video, but it's a pretty simple job. Anybody could do this. So let me show you guys how I do it and how I recommend you to do it as well. Let's start with the front, and the first thing you're going to want to do is remove your wheel. So next thing you're going to want to do is remove this caliper assembly. You're going to remove these two 17mm bolts. It's going to be one on the top and one right here on the bottom. Once you remove this, you can remove this assembly out and put it to the side so you can remove the bracket itself. Alright, so once you take out this caliper assembly, you're going to want to remove these two 18mm bolts. There's one here and one right here. These two bolts hold this whole assembly together, and you could go ahead and remove these calipers as well. This one, and then just remove the other one. So these are the two old pads. Now once you remove these pads, you could go ahead and remove these bolts out so you could get this bracket out of the way. And this is how you take out the bracket. So once you take out the bracket, you can remove your old rotor, just like this, and you're set to go. Something you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and clean this assembly with some brake parts cleaner. And then something else you're gonna wanna do is just clean this bracket itself. Make sure you clean it on a pan. You don't want all this asbestos, brake dust going everywhere. Remove these metal clamps, which we have new ones for. Now we're just gonna go ahead and clean it off. So just snapped in these new brackets on the assembly for the caliper. Now it's just basically reverse, just install everything back how you removed it. That's it for the front. Just to do a quick recap, we removed the caliper, put it to the side. On my case, I put it on top of this paint container. Then I removed this bracket, which was two 18mm bolts. For the caliper, it was two 17mm bolts. Then once you remove this bracket, you can easily just remove the rotor, and then just make sure that you wire brush this sliding part for the bracket, and then put your new clips in and put the new rotor in, and then it's just reverse. Basically, just make sure that you tighten the 18mm bolts pretty tight, and then you're gonna do the 17mm, and you're basically good to go. So that's the front. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side of this car, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the rears. So one thing I realized after recording this video is that I didn't record an outro for this video, but I just wanted to cover some points. For the rear, it's basically the same as the front. It's two bolts, I think it's hex bolts in the caliper. Just remove those two bolts and then remove the two bolts for the bracket itself. And for the rotor, there's a little snippet in the back, like that you could adjust the gear wheel. If it's too hard to remove, make sure you release your emergency brake. That's number one. That's happened to me in the past where I'm doing a job and I have the emergency brake on and I cannot remove the rotor, and then you realize it's the emergency brake. So release the emergency brake. If you cannot remove the rotor, there's a little bracket in the back that you can adjust as a gear wheel. You could just put a little flathead and adjust it so it releases the rotor itself. The Jeep is good to go brake wise. Now the next thing for the Jeep is probably going to be the headlights. I'm going to try to restore those. So like always, keep grinding, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.